double punch, my bearing. Female technique is nice, so shooting a grab from here. And heel up, break, impact, impact. Kick to the knee, touch the leg.
For those that have asked which bunkai are presented in the recent Dan test, I thought I would play some video and give a quick answer. As most know, in our traditional network, we require our instructors to know and preserve the traditional bunkai which has been passed down from style founders. That is, as best as we can from printed sources and through style heads passing on the knowledge. But for some combinations within kata, we also supplement the original knowledge with alternate bunkai or variants, typically as flow drills, which address the most likely street scenarios based on the medical and police statistics of the modern era that we now have access to. We also balance those against the defender's sex and the likely violence context or stranger versus domestic versus law enforcement as just 3 category examples. The pool of bunkai techniques in such variants are always pulled, though, from techniques which our instructor group has been shown at some point by a senior Okinawan or Japanese instructor to ensure we are still drawing on the traditional karate heritage when we make up the flow drills. In the diagram that's shown, this is the green area that we're pulling from, but we are looking for the overlap zone shown. So in the test a week ago, I decided not to select just one approach or another, but give a broad spectrum of all of the above. However, I did bias male-on-male violence, given that's what I am and more likely to come up against. In the test protocol, it did not involve me calling out or discussing anything verbally in detail. The panel did not want to see that. So it's only in the dojo that we have time to really break down to the level of detail and rationale as to why I chose certain flow drills and not others, and a spectrum of some of the standard traditional approaches to certain moves. So all of this comes back to the balance in figure, the figure that's depicted here and taken from page 177 of our textbook, Street Fighting Statistics, Medical Outcomes and Related Bunkai. So to press on now to an example, I'm going to give a few clips out of the test, but the first one uses the 2 moves out of Gojushiho that begin the kata. So firstly here what I do is show some footage taken in the weeks prior to the test with Sensei Greg Scoville and myself drilling an application to those first 2 moves as a repetitive flow drill, which is how we always work our bunkai. And then you see the same technique done with Sensei Nick in the test. In the test it goes a little bit slower, as Gojushiho is not a kata yet that Sensei Nick knows, so he's not really familiar with the flow drill and I had to prompt him for each action. No criticism of Sensei Nick here, as we don't all know all kata, and Gojushiho is actually a kata taught to those above 4th dan, classically. So of course, those that know the kata, the technique involves the opening strike, which is a cover followed by a uraken down, is one way to describe it, followed by a kakewake. In this example, in the flow drill, I don't actually use the kakewake as the most common interpretation, which is intercepting a grab, but rather I use it as a simultaneous uke-uchi, something which I was taught in Okinawa as a variant. It then uses the cat stance to use a knee as an implied technique, which is not shown in the kata, followed by a guillotine, which is a common tap-out affecting move that we often see in MMA these days. Following the Gojushiho examples, I'll post a few other bunkai from Seipai, so it just flows on as one video here. I hope this helps to explain to some how I decided to approach the bunkai in the test, and just reinforces some of the approaches we try and use as we encompass all the options that are out there today to cover off on bunkai. Happy to explain any of this in the dojo in detail sometime, because it's stuff that's really very tough to convey in a very short clip or video.
Next technique, underneath, back of leg, double punch, my bearing, female technique is nice, shooting a grab to begin. Heel up, break, impact, impact. Hip to the knee, touch the leg. Dio! Dio! Empty, block all back, and look at table shito-ryu. From here, coming in the top grab on my side here, elbowing up. Turning from bottle head, elbow in. Swing, take a hook up. 1. Bottle head supported. 2, 3, 4. Take down. Impact. Dio! Dio! Hey, next. Last sheet there. I go there. And rotate. Reaction. Start from here. Then the top go on the side. Take and hook. Last sheet there. I go there. Straight down. Watashi. From here. 1, 2, 3. And impact from here. Which represents my turn. My area. Looks like closing. Coming in. Little arm on my way through. Because the next side is relative to me, I'm not going to try and go on the inside. It's too hard for me to step around. Slip on the back, not the knee, so getting down to the range where I can apply the pressure on the arm. Keep my arm up against the base, come around, back this way. Hey, from here, my area. Dio! 1, 2. Hey, left arm. 1, 2. So I'm up here, hitting through the door. From here again, since the neck is so large relative to me, I'm not going to go to an ogoshi, which is a hip and over the shoulder throw. From here, from the daiotoshi, which is around the base of my leg, down to there. Hey, go forward.